Welcome back to another episode of Talking Tarkov. I'm the EarLegAthlete here with.
Hey, Dizzle.
Today, we're going to go ahead and cover Killa, Tagilla, and since the new boss spawn event has started, we'll talk about the Cultist Priest as well. We hope you find this information useful. Enjoy. Get started with Killa then. He's heavily armored, typically rocking some pretty heavy hitting ammo. So he's one of those bosses you have to have good position for, but it's interchange. So how do we even do that? Sure, there's cover in interchange, but Killa will run you down. So it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to find the right approach. It also like there's a lot of spawns for Killa. He can be in
Mhm.
a handful of places, like sure the three main stores and then that middle main hall. Like in idea, we have ran into him on the far left side by the computers. We've ran into him over by the what is it, the diner or whatever that is, the little lunch hall.
Right.
He's been on the far right side. He's been up by the cash registers. He's been in the back by the furniture. And that's just the one store. So, what do you think the best approach is going in there, knowing you got to hunt Killa? Like, what's your play?
When we spawn in, a lot of the times you will hear Killa, especially if he has his RPK. You'll hear him just constantly shooting round after round inside the mall, and that gives you a good idea of where he's at. The fact that he's so mobile makes it, it's not 100% because if you hear him on one place, he could also be heading somewhere else by the time you get in there. Um, Idea Ollie and Goshen are usually your main 3 stores that, you'll find him in, but you also know his main hall there by, the underground where it goes underground there. He can also be right there at that ramp underground, but that's your best I think your best, weapon against him is to just listen, and more than likely, you're gonna hear where he's at, and then you just, kinda have to chase him down. Now, if you just run into him, accidentally, that can get crazy because, like I said, he's got that 95 round drum mag in the RPK most of the time, or he'll have 60s in it.
He's rocking the RPK. Yeah, at
Y-
minimum he's rocking 60.
Yeah, but he'll have the 95 round drum mag most of the time to start, so he can sit there and shoot for a good while off of one mag. It's just Killa's very aggressive. He's going to come at you. He's not going to play games
Yeah,
with you. If he sees you, he's chasing you down. You're going to have to make sure that you have something that can penetrate his helmet, or you're gonna have to try to leg him, one of the 2, because if you stay in the line of sight of him too long trying to take him down, he's gonna drop you. Like, it's
yeah.
just
You
a
don't
tough
get a
fight.
lot of opportunities to just
No,
get free shots on Killa. Like, sure, sometimes
no,
there's that rare occasion where you stick to a wall or he'll want to get within a certain range before he starts shooting. But you can rest
right.
assured, within a certain amount of time, he will be shooting, and he is a laser.
Yeah. And just like with any other boss, he has his times where he gets kinda caught up in, trying to decide what to do, so you'll catch him, like, running away or trying to get behind something, and it'll kinda bug out, and he'll just kinda go back and forth a couple times. So you get those moments every now and then, but if he's aggro to you and you're fighting him straight up, it's not it's not an easy fight without cover. You have to have cover. Um
Absolutely.
and even the cover is not safe because he will eventually push that cover. Like, that's the main difference I think with him and say Tagilla is they're both the type of bosses that'll just they'll chase you down no matter what. They're not gonna sit there and swap shots with you back and forth. They're just gonna push you.
Yeah, their ideal fight is right in your face.
Yeah, and like I said, listening for shots, figuring out where he's at, and then just deciding if it's a good area to try to challenge him in or not. Because if you can hear him, that means you can also kind of stay away from him. So you can kind of wait if you want and try to catch him in a place better suited for you. You don't always have to just rush into him.
Yeah, because he will be roaming around. Just because he
Yeah,
spawns an idea, once he's killed all the players or has nothing to shoot, and he hears shots, he's chasing that stuff down. If you're in the mall,
right.
Killa's
Because
probably going to make his way towards you.
yeah, and he's going to mow scavs down too. So you're going to be hearing him shoot a lot.
As for the best location to fight him at, I personally have had the best luck fighting him over in Goshen. But I don't.
Well, I mean, if considering, it's all about what you have. If you're in a raid and you're rocking 9 mil, then no, you're not gonna wanna just push him. You're gonna and if you do have to fight him, like I said, leg meta might be the option there because he has no armor on his legs, so hopefully you can shoot him enough in those before, he kills you.
Well, and to be
Um,
fair, rushing Killa is extremely hard to do. Your best bet is typically fighting him at a range,
and that's what I was gonna say. A lot of people are scared of Killa because of that reason, because he's so aggressive.
right?
Because you know what I mean. Like it's almost like when you first come across Tagilla and like you fought other bosses, but you haven't run into. Did I say Tagilla? I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
I did. Jesus Christ. When you first come across Killa, he's gonna be scary compared to other bosses because if you've already fought some other bosses, you're kind of thinking, you know what I mean? Like he'll have maybe some guards to protect him, or he'll have like a place where he likes to like stick to and not push out. So you're just thinking, you can fire a couple shots, run away, get the cover, and then you realize, oh, wait a minute, this dude's chasing me down, and he's just shooting everything in his path. So he kind of becomes a little intimidating. So it's like he gets that reputation because of the way he fights,
Right.
but once you understand exactly what he does, which is kind of the reason we're trying to put all this out there so people do understand, it's it's more about catching him in his weak spots, making sure you have the appropriate ammunition, and the rest is, kind of just like with any other boss. The main things is don't let him corner you and don't try to kill him with something that's not going to penetrate his armor.
Let's kind of brings up the next thing is it's like the fight changes a lot if you're fighting him solo versus if you're fighting him as a duo as well or with the team. Because if you're in a team, you're able to kind of fire back and forth off of him, and he'll de-aggro you and go to the other one, or the other person's just wide open to take the shot. So we're fighting him solo. It's like pure aggro the entire time. But that's where cover just keeps coming into. And if you can hit your shots with like a SVDS or something, because he does. Hill is one of the only bosses I've seen do this too, though. But he'll run in a zigzag pattern, and he does. I don't know. Does he still throw smoke grenades? I don't think he does.
I haven't seen him do it in a while. Yeah.
I don't think he does anymore.
I wouldn't be surprised. He still spawns. He does spawn with the RDG smoke grenades,
Right.
and he also spawns with flash nades. So there's a possibility. Yeah, I just haven't seen it in a while, but I'm sure he does still throw them on occasion.
But for me, so cover comes into play a lot fighting Killa, but with him being so mobile, running in zigzag patterns, throwing flash grenades, throwing regular grenades. Once you shoot him and he aggroes you and you dip into cover, you've only got so much time before he's right on top of you, and then you're in a full auto fight face to face with Killa, and that's already hard enough. So what you really want to try to do with Killa, anytime I fought him and I've been by myself, is just be constantly on the move. From the first shot you take on him, try to keep it moving, whether typically backwards, just so he has to keep moving. Because if you just let him sit in one spot and get his position and take shots at you until you're in a corner, and then he's able to rush you, like I said, it's over at that point. So try to stay in an area that you have room to move. You don't have to make massive amounts of movement each time, but jumping back 2 boxes or moving around the corner or whatever you can do to put some distance between you is absolutely massive in the Killa fight.
Yeah, yeah, and I think Kill is probably one of the quicker bosses. I feel like he's
He's fast.
faster as far as yeah. All his movements they seem faster than the other bosses. I don't know how much truth there is to that.
Well, not Kaban. Boy runs quick.
True, true. You're right. He waddles around pretty
Yeah,
fast.
he does.
Um, but yeah, I just feel like he's faster. It might just be his aggressive where he doesn't like hesitate. Maybe that's
There
part
is
of
no
it.
hesitation with him, yeah.
Right. And I think that's like I said, I think Kill is probably the most famous boss, probably also the most intimidating boss, but he's not the hardest boss. That's
No,
that's the thing you got to realize. He's not that hard if you know what to do.
well, let's talk about the ammos that will drop him definitively, right? Like 545 BS, what is it, M993? No, M995 and 762 by 54R. Those are probably the go-to.
Yeah, anything considering, you know what I mean, like his armor, anything that's going to pin level 5. So anything with say 48 pin and above is going to be good to headshot him. And then also even thorax shot because he has level 5 plates in his chest rig.
Yeah.
Anything that's pin in level 5 comfortably, then yeah, you're good with that. His face shield that is like, the actual face shield on his helmet is level 6. So trying to shoot him like in the eye region is difficult because then you need something, level or you need ammo with penetration like 58 and above, which that there's not very many ammos in the game with that much. Otherwise, if you can pin a level 4 helmet with your ammo, then you're pretty good to try to shoot him like in the side of the head or the very top of the head. A lot of times you don't get a choice, you're just kind of trying to shoot him as he's running to you. So that level 6 face shield saves him a lot because you don't get to sit there and just aim exactly where you're trying to shoot him. You can only shoot at what you see, and usually that's all you're seeing because he's rushing you. But I just wanted to point that out because I was saying 5 earlier. It's not 5, it's 6 and 4.
Um, I don't know. I can't think of anything else too important to cover with Killa. I mean, he can be in all three of the stores, and he can be in that main hall, and then he can be over by the hole in the floor. Um, he can be in the underground, even over in C. But again, he'd be by the hole in the wall or the hole in the floor. Uh,
Yeah, if you're in the mall, period, underground, first floor, second floor, you're in danger of him. Just know that.
absolutely.
Don't let your guard down. He could be anywhere. He's gonna find you most of the time if you're there and he's there. So just play it safe. Anytime you go into the mall, expect to see him. Um,
Well, and
Killa
like you said
is
earlier too, like he does make enough noise. You typically know where he's at, but there are
yeah.
times where the raid's dead and you
There's
will
yeah,
not know.
yeah. There's
He's in a
times he'll be
bad
sitting in a
spot,
corner
whatever.
somewhere.
Yeah.
He will hide in corners too. He does do that. He'll go back to a corner like inside Mantis. He'll go in Mantis in a back corner by one of the beds, and you'll just have to
Wait.
go in there and actually find him or throw a nade. But yeah, he does. There are times where he's just kind of chilling. And I've even walked into like Ollie before, and he's just chilling back there by himself, and I'm just like, "Oh, that's Tagilla or that's Killa." Why do I keep saying Tequila? Jesus Christ! Why they had to name them so close to each other? It's not
Right?
like they're brothers.
I know. It doesn't make any sense. Crazy.
They're calling Tequila. But yeah, he's just he can be quiet. Most of the time, he's extremely loud, but he can be quiet.
I think that
And there's
covers
really not a
Killa
lot.
pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
I
really not
mean,
a lot to say.
there's not.
He's just aggro. He's aggro.
Yeah.
He's crazy,
He's got
and
some armor.
he
He's fast and he's
yeah
crazy. Yeah.
yeah. And he's lethal. His shot is lethal. Like,
Yeah,
that's what he's known for.
absolutely.
He's known for he kills people a lot, including you. He will kill you a lot.
Yeah. Every time. Not every time. You'll get used
Yes,
to the
you'll
fight. You'll
never
figure it out.
win.
Yeah, it's
You'll
impossible.
die every time.
But yeah, I mean, it isn't impossible to kill Killa. It's actually a really fun fight once you get more confident with it. It's one of those things you kind of got to find your own way strategy wise. We can give you the basics and just kind of help you with the bread and butter type of stuff, but you got to find your own way, as we all do. If you can pin his armor, you can take him out no problem. He's only got 890 health. Like, get through the helmet, get through the chest plate. We give you a couple recommendations that'll help you do that. Uh, we'll go ahead and move on over to his brother. I mean, Tagilla. Let's fucking talk
Yeah,
about this
let's do it.
asshole. It's the boss on factory that makes your life living hell when you don't realize he's there.
Yeah.
Nothing better than turning the corner in office just to have a hammer swing and hit you in the face, and then from there it's just pure chaos and panic for about 3 seconds until you're dead.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. When he's chasing with that hammer out, that's terrifying.
it is
You can hear the
so scary.
swing behind your head,
Yeah,
like, you're just running for your life.
it's horrible.
Oh,
It's
yes.
terrifying. Um, and he's a pretty decent shot. He's not the best. You can get in a pretty okay stand up fight with him if you have like some crates or something to cover on. But
Right. Yeah, he's not his brother, with the shooting, but he's similar. Like, he definitely will take you out pretty quick.
well, I mean, he's
Um,
also rocking shotguns and AKs, and that AK rocks BT
yeah,
and Volnik, so he's ready
yeah,
for action. He is a fucking freak though. Like this man is wild. Uh, he will just kind of pace around waiting for someone to turn the corner. He doesn't make a whole lot of noise unless he aggro's from a distance. Even then, he still just starts running around, killing everybody, killing everything, and then he just pops up on you a lot of the time. There's been a few times
right.
I've been able to catch him at a distance and be like, "Oh, there he is," and let's get the drop on him. But a lot of the times it's just like turn the corner, bam, there's Killa, or Jesus, now I'm doing it.
It's hard
you
to
know,
not do it, dude.
bam, there's Tagilla. It's like he's just kind of always just factory's a small map, anyways, right? So
Yeah.
you're already in tight quarters with him, closer than you want to most of the time. So a lot of the time it's preparation for the map, knowing the boss you're coming up against. He wears a strand hog and what level 4 face mask,
No, his
level
face
5.
mask,
He has two.
Basically, his ube, he has 2 welding masks, his, ube and his gorilla, both of them are level 5. They just cover the face, though, the back of his head is completely open. He'll also wear the, CQCM ballistic mask
That's right.
sometimes, which is level
Yeah.
4. But yeah, on his chest rigs, he's got the Strandhog, which is level 4, and then the Cry Precision AVS Tagilla edition, which is level 6. But it also doesn't cover much, it's just mainly thorax and stomach cover. So he wears, you know, he wears good armor, but it doesn't cover much of his body. Um, the face shield, obviously, if he's coming at you, is going to block most of his face. But if you can get behind him, he has no protection on the back of his head. Um, but yeah, that's the armor situation.
So with him, you can leg meta, you can go for, arms, thorax, throat area. You can There's a few different strategies there. You can go try to get him to run away with grenades and shoot him in the back of the head. Just you've got options with him. Again, he is pretty beefy. He's got 100
Yeah,
on his head with a total of 1220. So you do
yeah,
have to do
yeah,
some work to him, but I wouldn't put him too far up on like the difficulty scale. I think he's a relatively easy boss, especially once you know he's there ahead of time. There's nothing better than that
right.
because then you can prep exactly for that fight because you know it's coming. Ideally, you catch him, hit him with a nade, have him fucked up trying to heal himself, and you're able to just burn him down real quick. Like that's the ideal kill or Tagilla kill. It never works that way though. A lot of the time, he's just
No,
in your face. You gotta just full auto, pray and spray, or hope you're rocking like SR-25 or something. Or sorry, it shouldn't even be gun specifically, but like a 7.62 or 855A1, something like that. Something that's gonna do enough penetration up close and still get that damage through.
that's what gets me killed. Anytime I die, I mean, there are times where like you'll just be going up and down like some steps, or you'll be opening a door and he'll just appear there, like because he is sneaky sometimes. Obviously, you'll die in that situation a lot, but when I do fight him, like I see him coming, if I, am rocking 556 or just anything that's non like meta, you're gonna struggle because instantly, if you're like me, you go for headshot.
Every
He does
time.
have level 5 there. Yeah. So the time it's gonna take you to pin that if you don't have very good ammo, he's gonna already be up on you and either shooting you or hitting you with the hammer. So that will get you killed if you know he's there and you have the right ammo. He's pretty easy to deal with. It's just there are times where it's like he almost like sneaks around, or for whatever reason you just don't hear him and then he's just there. But he's also very quick, just like his brother. Uh he can catch you pretty fast. If you're running from him, he will catch up to you. Yeah, he's just you got to be careful cuz I talk about how easy the fight is kind of, but at the same time it's like he is lethal and I do die to him quite a bit. So it's
Yeah,
not like
absolutely.
yeah, it's not like it's a piece
They
of
are
cake. Like you
Tarkov
got to be
boss
prepared.
fights. I think we've
Exactly,
discussed
yeah.
that once before. Like, while we
We
do,
have,
put
yeah.
them on a grade of easy to hard, that easy is still really high on the difficulty
Yeah.
scale.
It's on a
So it's
Tarkov scale, yeah.
yeah, relative to the game, easy is what you consider easy. Tarkov.
He's easy to counter if you know what kind of ammo to run and if you have sight on him, he's easy to counter. If
Yeah.
you don't, you're pretty much dead.
But again, it's readiness for the fight ahead. With all these boss fights that we have talked about, we've always discussed what you should be rocking in terms of ammo at minimum. If you know you're going to factory, you're probably not taking an M700. Sure, there's the memes, but whatever. You're probably not taking an M700. You're probably not going to take a 545 AK, which could work out, but at the same time, it would
Yeah,
be
it
nice
can
to have
work.
the full auto. The full auto helps a lot just for those surprise situations. But if you know you're going to factory, you're probably prepping with the chance of running into Tagilla in mind. I don't go to interchange thinking I'm not going to see Killa. Every time I load into interchange, I'm prepped to kill Killa. With that comes, obviously maybe a different ammo type for other situations, or maybe it's all just one ammo type because it's meta. Whatever that may be, but I am prepped and ready for a Killa fight. When I go to factory, I am
Right.
prepped and ready for a Tagilla fight. Um,
Yeah.
it's just
Consider his
being
face mask is 5. If you do want to rock any certain gun, try to at least get ammo with, like I said, 48 or above. The reason I go a couple notches down is because even though 48 isn't 5, like 50, it has a high chance still. 48 is considered a good chance of pinning level 5. So 48 and above, you're pretty much for sure gonna tear through his face shield.
And that's pretty easy to get your hands on.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, almost every ammo type has, I mean, at least everything as far as like 545, 556, 76239, 76251, all of them have ammo that is in that range.
right,
It's not easy to get at first, you know what I mean? It's all
right, yeah,
high tier ammo, but if it's later on in the wipe, you can get a hold of all that stuff relatively easy.
yeah, for sure. And his Strand Hog, it's what, level 4, right?
Or yeah, it's 4.
So if you are running not as good ammo in your early wipe or just starting out or whatever it is, aim for the chest would be my best suggestion to you, or maybe even go for the legs. But the
Right.
chest, if you've got decent ammo but not quite, if you're rocking like a 42 pin or something like that, you can definitely squeeze and burn through the chest plate pretty easily.
And sometimes it's hard to look to see what he has on because he can have on that AVS that's level 6,
That's
but he can also
true.
have on the Strand Hog that's level 4. So a lot of times I catch myself like I tell myself like, hey, I'm gonna look and see what Tequila's wearing, but in the heat of the moment, I don't. Like I
Yeah,
just
you
see
don't have
him and I
time.
run or
Right,
decide what
right,
to do. You know what I mean? So it's
right.
hard to do that.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of time. Again, factory's a small map. Tagilla's quick. Um, and a lot of the times you don't see him in those long hallways. You might, catch him running through or something by chance, or try to catch him when he's running down towards you. But if that's the case, it's probably too late anyways, and you're in a fight. A lot of the times it's you're clearing an area and he's on the other side of the room, or you hear him shoot, but you're not 100% where he's at. Like it can be a tricky fight, especially with all the verticality now. There's so many more places in the underground. There's the new lab. There's the outside areas and everything now. So I don't think Tagilla goes outside, but I've seen him pretty well everywhere else on Factory in all the new zones. So I wouldn't be surprised if he will chase you out there. But catching him in stairs is horrible. Catching him in the underground is kind of rough. Like there's a lot of spots you just don't want to run into Tagilla, and it ends up happening in those spots.
Just real quick, I just want to put
Probably.
this out here. I just figured this out. Evidently, right now there is 100% boss spawn on every map.
Oh,
Um, there's a new event going on, not on every map, but all the bosses are on their respective maps. But there's also Cultist Priest are back at 50% spawn rates on Customs Woods Shoreline. Um, and all the other bosses are 100% spawn rate on their maps.
okay. Would you say we've covered Tagilla fairly well?
Yeah,
Would you want
I
to
mean,
talk about the cultist priests?
considering they're there now, we might as well throw them in there
That
because
would
they
be a
are
good way to
difficult.
finish up this week. Yeah,
Yeah, they are the boys
times three.
fused with cultists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Cultist priest escape from Tarkov.
And they are 50% customs, 50% woods, 50% shoreline, 2% night factory, 2% ground zero.
Okay, so with the cultist priests, I can say I don't have a whole lot of experience with these guys. I have fought them a few times, and I know that they are like pretty much the end game of end game. They are as beefed up as it gets. They are just crazy. The fact that you can't see them on thermals, they're silent. They prefer to stab you. They'll lay in a bush. You don't even realize you're walking over them until you like look down, or you just jump over them and don't even realize it because you think it's a stick or a rock or whatever. These guys are nuts. The cultist priests are, dude, they're sneaky boys. Like, right? That's just what they are. They're sneaky boys. Um,
Yeah, they are.
and they're in a group. There's the main priest plus what 3 to 4 whatever mini extra cultists with them.
Yeah, there can
Uh,
be, they've done some tweaking to that as of late, so I'm not sure the exact numbers, but they did that thing with the like the boss cultists, which those were actually like in the threes. So I don't know if they're bringing them back or if it's just the normal cultist. But if it's the normal cultist priest, it's usually like one of them and like four other cultists, I think.
well, they stab you with poison knives. So there's a new, entirely new mechanic of combat that most players haven't dealt with. And if they have,
Right.
they typically die because they don't have XTGs or what is the other one?
The
Perfatorin,
XTG, Perfatorin, and yeah, that's it. That's
Augmentin.
it. Yeah, you can take Augmentin. Yeah, Augmentin will
Yeah.
also cure you. But yeah, you got two stems and some pills that you can keep with you if you're planning on running into these guys. You can like if you run into them, get stabbed, you don't have the cure. You can like pop yourself with like ETGs and propitols just to make it the extract, but you will die if you stay in raid.
Yeah,
There's
get your
nothing
ass
that'll
to
cure
extract.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that happen. I barely made it out. Luckily, I had ETGs on me, and that's the only thing that kept me alive.
Before we talk about how to fight them, they've got some pretty crazy loot too.
Oh yeah,
Um,
crazy, crazy.
so I know for a fact they can spawn in with any of the marked room keys, right? Or not any. Yeah, any of the marked room
Um,
keys.
I was gonna say, I think so. Yeah, I think they can
Yeah,
have any
it's any
marked room
marked
key.
room key. Yeah. The rusted bloody key. They can get all of the labs key cards.
Yeah, yeah, they can have all of them. Yeah, one of these bosses can have 20, 30 million rubles worth of stuff on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want to talk about like on customs, they usually have four people around them. Like the priest will have four people fighting for him. On woods, they'll have four. On shoreline, they'll have three. On Shoreline, they'll also have four. It can be either one will spawn a four group or a three group. On Night Factory, they'll have two, but they can also have three. It's like a 50-50 chance on each one. On Ground Zero, same thing. It can be a group of three or a group of four. And what they are is basically like little guards, like well not little, but like guards for the priest. So that's just the guards, not including the priest. So you're going to run into a group of them. Like it's not
Yeah,
going to
no
be
matter
like you just
what,
find them by
there's
themselves.
yeah.
So even if you see them, can take them down relatively easily, most of the time, as soon as you shoot them, you're gonna die because there's someone else already watching you and they're waiting for you to like make a move so they know whether they're gonna sneak up on you and stab you or if they just need to shoot you because they'll do either one.
When it comes to fighting them though, approaching them, just trying to figure out where they are, how many of them, like obviously you can't see them through thermals. You can still see them move through, night vision and things like that, but they do blend well. They're wearing all black, and you're
Yeah.
not guaranteed that they're going to be moving around. They do try to sneak
They could
up
be
on
laying
you.
down.
Yeah, that's there's been so many times walking through woods and shoreline that I've just like stumbled on top of one and then just had to like look down and realize there's one right there. And at
Right.
that point, I'm usually getting stabbed in the back. You're hearing all kinds of weird noises and things. It's definitely a spooky environment when they're around too. Like it
It's spooky, it's difficult. Like I'm gonna be 100% serious right here. They are the hardest fights I've ever had in Tarkov. Like
absolutely,
1000%. Yeah. Like they're unpredictable. There's no there's no one way to just defeat them. Like it's a different fight every time. Now, there are some things that they repeat and you can kind of learn it, but it's like it's it's so different every time considering the location's usually different, the amount of them's usually different, the ammo that they're using, the weapons, the everything's different. Like they're very random. They'll sneak up on you sometimes, they'll just straight up engage you with guns sometimes. Um, they're quiet, you don't hear them. It's a very difficult fight. It's like I said, no joke. The hardest fights I've had have been with cultists.
absolutely. 9 times out of 10, I'm down to push every fight. When it comes to cultists, I always kind of think about it for a second, even though I'm typically down. Uh, there are times where it's like, no, dude, I've got too much stuff on me, or I got this task item, or whatever. Like, I'm
Right.
avoiding that shit. I don't want to go anywhere near their spawns. They are just absolutely brutal, and I would they be easier if they would spawn during the day and you could see them? Yeah, obviously, but that's what makes them so much fun and so hard. It's just that nighttime atmosphere is already greasy, and then you've got these scary fucks that are trying to stab you, preferably. Like it puts
Yeah,
you
and they
already
use
on edge, and then they're really good at shooting you.
yeah,
I can't
yeah,
stress that enough. They are really good at just lasering you down.
yeah, they
I
don't
mean,
miss very often,
no, dude. If they start
and they
shooting
use
at you
top
and they
tier.
miss, you need to reposition quickly and safely because the next shot they take at you is going to kill you
Yep,
if you survive
yep,
the
and it's
first round.
all
High
high
damage.
pin or high flush damage ammo. Like
Yeah.
that's all they run. They wear high like high level armor. Like they'll
Yep.
wear like uh hex grids and slicks and stuff like that. They're just seriously like the reason their spawns are always less than everyone else is because if they spawned all the time, people would just like quit playing the game because
Dude,
they
nobody would
are
play.
insane. Yeah,
They
they're
are.
insane. There's a reason that you don't run into them much, and that's because you're gonna die most of the time. Even if you are a veteran player and know exactly what to do or how to do it, you're gonna die still. Like I have probably died to them at least like 60-40 like rate. I would say I've died 60%, maybe one 40%. I definitely know they've killed me more than I've killed them.
Yeah, absolutely. They've killed me more than I've killed them. Have
And just
we
health
wiped them
wise,
all? Yeah, absolutely. But
they're
they get the drop on
850
us.
on health. At least the priests are 850 on health. So it's like they're not insanely hard to kill. It's the amount of them, and they're always around each other. And a few of them will be laying down somewhere. So you'll think, oh, there's only two here that I need to kill. And before you know it, the other two have like circled behind you, and now they're just waiting to shoot you in the head. Like,
Yeah,
and you'll never know it
yeah,
because you won't hear them. Like, they're just difficult, and they're meant to be. That's the whole
yeah.
purpose.
And not being able to see them plays in a like sure they only have 850 health, but you have to find them before they find you. Like
Right.
it's a pretty rough stealth fight. Like it's pretty
It
gnarly.
is.
It's a lot of fun though. If you enjoy the abuse, it's one of the most fun times you'll have playing Tarkov, hunting
Yep.
the cultists. I encourage you all to go out and do it.
And it's rewarding if you can get the loot.
Yeah, if you guys can kill them, you're loaded. You've got the funds, whatever you want. I encourage you all to get out there and try it. Absolutely, go out there and have fun, especially now that their spawn rates are turned up.
On the respective maps, like on customs, usually they're going to spawn around Stronghold, somewhere around Stronghold.
Yeah,
Um, they can actually be as far back as like Crack House, but that's still considered around Stronghold. So anywhere
yeah,
in that area, even across the road on the other side, like heading towards Storms, they can be over in that area. So they have a pretty big radius. On
yeah.
Woods, they're like west of the lumber mill, and then also
They're in the
at the
tree
the
line behind Sawmill and the road that leads to the SUV with the labs card in it,
right.
and then stretching on past that too.
And then their other spawn on Woods is the Sunken Village. It's technically called the Rundown Village, but I call it the Sunken Village. It's the one that has the sunken church that you have to like. It's in the water. It's
Yeah,
on your way to
Scav
Scav Camp.
bunker
That's
and
back there.
village.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's backed by car extract. Not the actual village
the
with
one to
car
the
extract,
left.
but the next one down if you follow that road down.
Yeah,
Um, and then on Shoreline, they can be inside the west wing or the east wing or northeast of that sunken village on that map, which is the same thing. It's got the old houses that has the water and the swamp all around it. But inside resort, yeah, either wing, they can
pretty
be
much
outside, they can be inside.
anywhere around the fence line of resort, those fox can
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
There's
And
not too
then
many safe
where
areas.
the very end when you're going to like path to lighthouse,
Yeah,
right back in there, that's also
yeah,
where they spawn.
right.
They
Yeah,
can be around that whole swamp. And then Night Factory and Ground Zero, any scav spawn. Anywhere where a scav can spawn, these guys can spawn. So they can pretty much be anywhere on the entire map. So there's not like one location where they always are. It's random. And that's all the spawn places.
yeah. By far the hardest thing you're ever gonna do in the game, but
Yeah.
also just so worth it. Plus, we all have that task to collect the knives, you know.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
true. We
worth
can do
going
that
in and
now
trying to
too.
get it done, you know, just on task principles alone. I know for a fact as soon as I'm done with this recording, I assume you as well. We're gonna go try and farm cultists, right?
I'm probably gonna play Farming Simulator 2023. I got a really good
Well,
farm going, dude.
I mean,
Okay, I mean,
no, I
I'd
get
like
it
to play a
because you
little
got to get your
Tarkov.
crops in. No, you need to get
Yeah,
your crops in, dude. I don't want to hold you
it's
back on that.
important. That
I
whole
almost feel
town
like
is
I should get
dependent
on
on
with
me.
you and help you. Yeah, exactly. I feel like I should get on and help
You
you get your
should, because
crops
I
in.
need someone to. Well,
You
yeah,
need
I
a farm
need
hand.
all
I
my
know.
crops
I
watered.
know.
Yes, yeah.
The whole
But
situation's
we will
pay
play
though.
Tarkov. We will play Tarkov like sometime.
Yeah, and we're gonna hunt these cultists. But yeah, so next week, next Monday, we will cover Kalante and Partisan. That'll be the end of this How to Hunt Bosses series. Well, we hope you all enjoy this Talking Tarkov, and we will see you next week. I'm the EarLegAthlete.
And I may Dizzle.
See you later.
Bye.